Y'all, I just watched a podcast that pissed me off so bad. It's a lady here on TikTok who was interviewing a no contact estranged child, telling her that she held the power in her hands, that if she chose to make things right, that she needed to forgive her mom and that she was the one calling the shots. And that pisses me off. Who the fuck do those kids think they are? I understand they're grown-ass adults, but I'll be damned if I will let another adult control my behavior, my feelings, my thoughts. God gave me my own and my own direction. I will die before I will let some fucking brat that I brought into this world that is unappreciative and that does not know how to be a real human being and adjust your feelings accordingly and work things out, control me. So the girl was saying stuff like, yes, I guess I could. I know that it's up to me. No, it's not fucking up to y'all. It's not up to y'all. For all you no contact kids, you've burned so many fucking bridges. You don't have a home to come back to anymore. You don't have a mom or a dad anymore. Maybe biologically, but one that you can reach out and hug or call and say, hey, I need help. You don't fucking have that anymore. Why? Because you chose to be a stubborn ass, ungrown adult. You chose to be unforgiving, but expect grace. You young adults and you no contact adults, if you haven't been introduced to karma, one day you will. And for all of you that had children, what would make you think you're fit to have children when you don't even know how to be a proper child to begin with? You surely can't teach them how to forgive and love because your motherfucking ass doesn't even know how to do it. So while you're out here thinking you got all the power, I'm one of those moms to let you know you fucking don't. You made this bed, now you lay in that motherfucker.
Classy. I haven't watched a lot of this woman's content, but I did go and watch a little bit, snippets here and there. So, I don't have full context on certain things. I will say this. Her children experienced around 47 addresses with her. So there's that. Don't have a bed to lie in. And who knows why that was. And I'm not throwing shade on her for that. There's a lot of us who pass down trauma and don't actually abuse our children. I was one of those moms who moved around a lot, not 47 times, and my kids were always in the same school. So I'll give myself some credit for that. I did provide, unfortunately, some significant instability though, and modeled some behavior around finance that was really detrimental to my kids, for sure. No question about that. However, this is not about me. So let's talk about this a little bit. I don't know what podcast she's speaking of. I do know that oftentimes when I see creators like this talk about, oh, I saw this video where this person said this, that, or the other, and I go back and I'm able to find the video, it's completely out of context. It's the cherry picking of the stuff. And the bottom line is it is upon the adult child to determine whether or not they're going to be able to either forgive or just be in a relationship with that parent who is doing whatever it is that they're doing. And that's not about power. That's actually about whether or not that adult child chooses that they are going to tolerate a relationship with someone who either is not being forgivable or who is continuing to perpetrate toxic behaviors. And in the case where a parent actually comes to the table, maybe goes to therapy, starts to really respect boundaries, understand what drives them to behave in particular ways with their children, if that child decides that they're going to be in a relationship with that parent, it is up to the child. The child didn't break the relationship because the child didn't form the relationship. The relationship was formed by the parent, and either it was created to be solid and stand the test of time along the way, or it was created in such a way that it was about control. And when that child grew up, they decided, well, you don't have control over me anymore. And if you're not going to grow along with me, I don't see a point of being in a relationship with you. Do you see how she's taking it as it's like I was going to say a pissing contest. I'm the parent. That's why. Well, that's probably why you're no contact, or at least a portion of the reason. And the way that she what makes you think you could be a good parent when you weren't a good child? Well, the fact that you thought your child wasn't a good child because they grew up and decided that they didn't want to be in a relationship with you, who didn't create that good parenting, well, that says a lot more about you than that child. I bet you my mother would say the same about me. I'm a parent of 3 adult children. They're all healthy. They're doing well. We have good relationships. Not always. We've had some bumps. We've had some estrangements in there. We may have more in the future. Who knows? If we do, it won't be because I'm not respecting them or taking care of their boundaries. It might be because maybe at some point they need space from me. I don't know. Hopefully not. Knock wood. We already went through a lot of that, and fortunately, my children did forgive me, or my eldest child actually, because she was the one who was no contact. And that wasn't because I gave her power or she took power. It's actually because I was forgivable. I'm thinking about it out loud as I listen to this pretty freshly. There's so many things she said in there. But the thing that really, I guess, sticks with me is how she says, what makes you think you would be a good parent when you weren't a good child? Well, it's not about good or bad. I can say what makes them a healthier parent is the fact that they're willing to do the things they need to do to remove people from their lives, no matter who that is, that are hell-bent on causing harm and being in control. I'd say that's pretty good role modeling for the children that we bring into the world. It makes them have the ability, it allows them to have the ability to make decisions about relationships, and that they don't just exist because of DNA or proximity. And I think that's extremely important for all of us. So what are your thoughts? I don't really have more to say about her other than, I hope she gets the help and support that she needs. And I say that because also, to me, the fact that she's had 47 addresses in her lifetime, and she was saying it in reference to trying to rebuild her credit or build her credit, that tells me that she's really struggling. And I hate to see that, regardless of whether or not she's an estranged parent, she's a person who's struggling. And maybe if she weren't struggling and she was getting the help and support that she needed or seeking it out, she would be able to have relationships with her children as well. Not every estranged parent is a mother like mine who's a sociopath and a narcissist. Not every estranged parent is an actual child abuser. Sometimes it's somebody who passed down trauma and just can't get out of their way to recognize that taking accountability for that and doing better is a good thing. It isn't a reflection of them being a bad person. They have a very different way of looking at the world when they're in that circumstance. And as a therapist who works with narcissistic family system survivors, I work with some moms who have either been estranged, are avoiding estrangement right now, or are estranged. Most of my clients are the adult children who are also in all different phases. Some will never estrange. They're good. They're just good in terms of being able to be in a relationship with that parent because that parent is working to improve their relationship, is doing something that's beneficial. So typically my adult children who are still in relationships are able to do so because the parents are actually doing something, taking some action, right? And one mom in particular comes to mind where she's in therapy with me and I have some of her children, her adult children. I don't take children. She's recognizing that the way that she was brought up actually is just her normal, and the things that she was taught about how we have to stay in relationships and we're not allowed to speak up. She came from a background of a mother and a father who were extremely critical, very toxic. She's got a lot of moving pieces. And as she's realizing that, she's also recognizing the way that she has brought that down to her children. And she's actually said to me sometimes, you know, I do this thing with my communication and I just like lose my mind, not screaming and yelling, but more like manipulating and being a victim kind of thing. And she goes, and I don't like myself afterwards, and I don't know where that comes from. And part of where it comes from was she was parented through guilt and manipulation, and she's doing the love that she knows. So all this to be said, I do want to also throw some sort of compassion at this mom here, because I saw a snippet of enough of a video to know that she's also struggling. And that, you know, even though the way that she spoke about her children in this video is absolutely unacceptable, nothing happens in a vacuum, right? So there you have it. What are your thoughts? And do you have someone you want me to cover? And if you do, don't tag me in their video because they will block me. I shouldn't say. Sorry. Not sorry. I did. All right. See you soon. Thank you for being here.